I'm excited to also have a chance to talk a little bit about particularly this book and some of the projects that I've been developing in the past, especially related to in-game photography and connected also to some of the machinima that we have seen that are also part of this great exhibition, and also that we will see after this brief presentation. So my name is Marco De Mutiis, and thanks again also for the presentation. I work in a photography museum in Switzerland, and while working more generally with themes of digital images and the transformations of photography through many of these different computational and algorithmic systems, one of my research interests is how photography has also entered game spaces and how play has transformed the act of photography, the photographic capture, and images at large. So during this research, I stumbled upon many different practices and also many different games, but there's one title that has been particularly important, both for machinima, so for kind of forms of video and also video art done within games and in-game photography, and that is Grand Theft Auto 5. So Grand Theft Auto 5 is from the same game studios of Red Dead Redemption 2 that we've seen in the images of the grannies. And it's the second best-selling games of all time. It was released in 2013 and is set in the simulated Los Angeles, which is called Los Santos. And that's why the title of the book is The Photographer's Guide to Los Santos. And it's interesting because if we think about Los Angeles as this kind of like hub of Hollywood and cinema, Los Santos is equally kind of the hub of machinima and in-game photography, right? So there is also this kind of double layer that accompanies this city. And that was one of the reasons why I thought this was like really like an interesting space to explore photographically. This book is the culmination of a few years, I think about 3 years of research that I have done together with Matteo Bittanti, but also that I have done through different educational settings in institutions, in art schools in Switzerland and internationally. So I think the first workshop was at Potsdam University in Germany, then also at Ulm in Milan, and then at ECAL in Lausanne, in Lucerne, and in Zurich. So I try to work in workshops in photography schools mostly, trying to bring this video game space as a space in which we could enter and think as photographers, as artists working with images, and also as a space to kind of reclaim, not just as a space where players have to play in a specific normative way, so to speak, but a space that can be transformed by the action of the artist. So from this series of workshops, this kind of guide was born as a series of manuals for students that follow the workshop, where we're interested in exploring this world photographically. And these manuals contains these were also some pictures of students starting to really also from very traditional photography programs. So they were taking pictures of the screen or taking picture of the projected game image. So really thinking and behaving like photographers, but going forward to ways in which the game also simulates a smartphone camera, so we start getting really meta into this idea of in-game photography. And I think GTA 5 is also very interesting because, as I said, it was done in 2013, so somehow it simulates Instagram, it simulates social media culture, it simulates smartphone photography, of more than 10 years ago, right? So it's also kind of an accidental archive of digital and smartphone photography from that time. It has a lot of filters that now Instagram doesn't have anymore. Remember, like the Valencia filters and all of those things. So this kind of like software that is both becoming a space and a tool for taking pictures, but at the same time also becomes some sort of photographic archives. Anyway, yeah, a number of different tools are offered by the game itself so that we can stage different scenes, we can move cameras, we can edit all of these videos. So I kind of compiled all of this as a series of manuals for students. But then also we started getting more into the way in which we can script. So we can change the program and the code of the game, and we can start to mod it. So modifying the game, changing characters into cats, programming different avatars, doing a series of actions and animations. And so we start to move already from the way in which the game becomes a space, a photorealistic space that can be documented through photography, to a tool in which the images can be shaped, right? If you want, it's from documentary to studio photography. So this is, again, a series of different options that are given to students to script all of the possible ways in which we can control the game and we can navigate the game. I started also creating a bunch of different tours, so to speak, that would tie and connect some ideas from the history of photography to these ideas of in-game photography. So there's an architecture photography and a new topographics tour for you photography fans of the new photographics movement. Social documentary and virtual street photography, reclaiming narratives in Los Santos, and nature and landscape photography tours. So again, this idea of the photographer's guide to Los Santos kind of blends the guide for photography students with a guide to a city as well. So the game, once again, has this double role as a space and as a tool. So yeah, different exercises would take students to different locations in the map and assign them tasks and exercises to produce like images and create photographs to do in class. And these are all, of course, part of the books, but they're also online, GTA 5 photography. And the other thing that we did with Matteo was also compiling a list of every in-game photography project that has been created in Grand Theft Auto 5 from 2013 until now. And once again, here we see, some interesting connections, of course, to this idea of out of bounds and this idea of here of architecture photography, so kind of connecting to this idea of glitch. And glitch in-game photography, to me also, is something that it's particularly interesting because it feels like the purest form of in-game photography, because it's the thing that you cannot do in physical photography, right? Like I cannot take a picture of reality glitching in front of my eyes. But in the game, we can actually go and see how this kind of reality is constructed. Another project working with out of bounds. The first one was by Raphael Brunken. Here is Thomas Havranke, two German artists. And on the other hand, also projects that work with the game as its own kind of game culture. So this is a project that is made by accumulating or overlaying like hundreds of hours of gameplay from YouTube and having this system of image averaging to creating this to create these portraits of the game. Because in the game the avatar is always in the center, we have this almost like romantic painting version of the character, and this is actually done through YouTube videos of the game. The artist didn't actually play the game, but there is of course like this idea behind this, this kind of romantic painting that is very much tied to the culture of the main character and the kind of like game character always in the center. And similarly, also artists who recently have worked with AI. This is actually a student from one of the workshops, Mattia Daganirio, who worked with Miet Ekal. And he took the main characters of GTA 5 and fed them to DALL-E, like one of the first generation generative AI tools, to reimagine the scenario of Grand Theft Auto 5, which is usually this like a hyper-masculine narrative about guys robbing banks and being ultra macho, as a space for LGBT queer romance. So he even remade the box of the game, although now in a 2-meter size. Los Santos is now full of love, drama, and desire, rather than gangsters shooting at each other in a hyper-violent scenario. So once again, the connection between the game, maybe as a space, as a tool, but also as a culture, right? Like, and how we can reclaim this culture in a way that is in opposition to the original view of the developer, or this idea, this parodic idea of the developer of the game. So this is the list of all of the artworks to date, right before the release of the next GTA, or right before, we'll see, GTA 6. In the book, there's also the 2 essays, one by me and one by Matteo, and the one that I wrote focuses more on the role of photography within the game, whereas Matteo goes into analyzing the different artistic practices and how they changed over the years.